Now to a fresh wave of lawsuits involving OpenAI. 7 families of victims of a deadly mass shooting in Canada are suing the company and its CEO, Sam Altman, saying OpenAI did not tell police about the shooter's interactions with ChatGPT. Now, back in February, an 18-year-old killed 8 people in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, hurt 25 other people as well. Police say she first killed her mother and stepbrother before opening fire at a local high school. The lawsuit alleges the shooter had conversations with ChatGPT about gun violence in the months before the attack. And OpenAI says employees flagged that account and then shut it down last June. Now, the families are accusing OpenAI and Altman of negligence and wrongful death, arguing the company saw warning signs months before the attack, but they did not notify police. An OpenAI spokesperson now responding to the suit saying, in part, quote, "We have zero tolerance policy for using our tools to assist in committing violence. As we shared with Canadian officials, we've already strengthened our safeguards, including improving how ChatGPT responds to signs of distress." Let's bring in Jay Edelson, a lawyer representing the families. Jay, walk us through what these families are claiming, and why do they say that OpenAI and Sam Altman were negligently wrong here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the first time in our world's history where a company had a decision to make and could have stopped the school shooting and decided not to. So our allegations are pretty clear. The shooter was using ChatGPT to plan some sort of shooting, mass shooting, and was flagged for that. 12 people within OpenAI were jumping up and down saying, we need to tell authorities. Something bad's going to happen. We need to tell the cops right away. And what did OpenAI and Sam Altman do? They said, no, keep it quiet. And they did keep it quiet. And then this horrible shooting happened. It was at a middle school. Six people died, 5 kids. They were shot at point-blank range. One of our clients, Maya, is in the hospital fighting for her life right now. She was shot 3 times, once in the head. And it's just a horrible, horrible tragedy. And it's because the leadership at OpenAI, I believe, is morally bankrupt.
And what are these families hoping to get from this lawsuit here?
I mean, there's nothing that's going to make their lives okay. OpenAI has destroyed these people's lives and the town. It's a small town. Tumbler Ridge is about 2,000 people. It's a mining town. Their goal is to first get some answers and get accountability. What their hope is that we fundamentally change how OpenAI operates so this never happens again. A town should never, ever have to suffer like this because of decisions made in a corporate boardroom.
And, you know, the thing that is particularly striking about this case, Sam Altman did send a letter to the community of Tumbler Ridge. It said, quote, "I am deeply sorry that we did not alert law enforcement to the account that was banned in June. While I know words can never be enough, I believe an apology is necessary to recognize the harm and irreversible loss your community has suffered." This apology here, legally, is this an admission of liability? Could this play a role in this suit?
Yeah, it's an admission of liability, but we've got so much other evidence. It was also a slap in the face. He promised the government in British Columbia that he was going to apologize a month ago. The reason he apologized was he found out that our legal team was in Tumbler Ridge last week. He knew a suit was coming. Also, it is so cowardly to just post an apology like this. What we've said to him and his team is he has an open invitation. He should come to Tumbler Ridge. He should meet the families like we did, and he should apologize, looking at them in the face and explain why he did this. But, you know, Sam Altman's not going to do that. He's going to go to his fancy dinners and, you know, pretend that none of this happened.
Last year, we also saw parents of a teenager who took his own life sue the company. They alleged that the chatbot gave him information about ways to do that, and we saw some of those chats. What do these cases say about what still needs to change when it comes to guardrails for this type of technology?
Yeah, there are about 30 lawsuits that you're referencing, the Adam Rain lawsuit, which we're lucky enough and honored to be representing his family. The 30 suits involve suicides, murder. In Florida right now, there are 2 separate criminal probes that have been initiated by the Florida Attorney General, one over a mass shooting in Florida State University, another involving a double murder in a different university, in Florida. Right now, it's a totally unregulated industry, and I think Congress and state legislators have to really start focusing on it.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.